Hey, everybody, and happy Wednesday. So, I'm excited about this live. Um, well, one, I love going live and I love connecting with you guys, but more so is the person that I'm bringing on to chat with today. So, I am going to bring my dear friend Tracy O'Malley to have some real talk. And we actually had a wonderful conversation last week that just kind of spurred just a lot of things, and I'm just excited to bring her on, do this interview, and hopefully we will get cooperation from Facebook, and trying to add her in now. It says adding. Let me just put this on. And I think it worked. Hi, Trace.
Can you see me?
Yeah, you look amazing.
All right. Yeah. Okay.
How are
Hi.
you?
I'm so good. How are you?
Doing wonderful. It's great to see you.
You too.
And more so, I was so inspired by our impromptu hour conversation over the phone last week that I just really felt that we had to do something like this just to get really real with people. And we touched on a lot of things over the phone,
Hmm.
and we spoke about exactly, we're just so in alignment with a lot of things in life right now. And I don't want to make this about me. I want to make this about us. So, and there's some of my network may not know who you are because there's some people
Hmm.
in and out of network marketing. But if you could start by first just introducing yourself to my audience, who you are, what you do, that would be awesome.
Hi. How are you? It's so good to see you. And
You
I
too.
got to tell you, I've been fired up since our chat the other day too. I love seeing people so passionate at what they do. And honestly, there's nobody that matches you. It's amazing.
Thank you.
Um, so you and I met in network marketing. And ironically, we both love network marketing and we don't love network marketing. There's parts of it that both of us are like, ugh, and the thing that you and I are both so passionate about is bringing a different face to network marketing where it's not creepy and weird and like I never wanted people running from me when I was like this network marketer.
Yeah.
And before I was a network marketer, which is so even weird to say because I never, I hear all the time from people, you're so good at sales. And I'm like, oh, like even to hear that is like, I'm not a salesperson. I'm a relationship builder. And
Mm,
I've always been that. And that came from, growing up in an alcoholic home. Like the only way to survive was to build relationships that were safe. Right. And building relationships that were safe it kept me alive as a child, but it didn't always serve me best. Right. And obviously, building a family, having children, um, changing different aspects of my life geographically, thinking I could outrun, outlast, outwit, outsmart all my past didn't happen. Like it just kept chasing me down the street, right? And no matter where I would go, no matter what face I would put on, whatever mask I would put on, eventually it caught up to me. And it got to the point about 7 years ago that even though I was doing a lot of internal work for about 12 years up to that point, 7 years ago, it kind of hit its breaking point where, I was 40. My kids were 14 and 15. I was seeing like my pathology of myself play out in my that doesn't work. And my
I
kids,
think.
are you there? You there?
Yeah, I'm here. Yep.
Okay. Um, you know, we will do what we are taught, told, and modeled. And I was seeing that play out in my own family. And so I knew in order for things to change, I needed to change. So 7 years ago, I overhauled my life, like wiped out my entire
Mm.
social network, and some of my family members as well. Because, environment, you've heard it, is stronger than willpower. And when you're changing your life, not everybody's going to make the cut. And this is a part where we're going to hit home on today, because a lot of you watching, especially if you're following this rock star, you are wanting to change your life. And you really can't change your life to the capacity that you deserve to in the environment you're in. It's going to require a shift. And so 7 years ago, I completely overhauled that, wiped it out, started over, like literally took the foundation to ground zero. And ironically, 6 months after doing that is when I was introduced to network marketing. And I had prayed for an opportunity, and that was not what I meant. Like, you got to be careful what you wish for, because
Yeah.
it showed up in a package. I was like, I don't want to freaking do that. Like, no, I don't know anybody. I'm that single mom that went to rehab. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Like, who is going to believe me and join my team and all the weird shit that we hear in network marketing? Like, I don't want to do it that way. But I couldn't also ignore the fact that this opportunity was in front of me for a reason. It was here to do it different, to be authentically me. Like, I mean, I had already taken it down to the ground zero. So what did I have to lose? And so when I decided to do network marketing almost 6.5 years ago, I decided I was going to do it different. And if I couldn't do it as me, then I wasn't doing it. And what I found is actually doing it as me, not only did I have success, but I had like insane rocket ship kind of success that with somebody on paper that was least likely to do it, all of a sudden was like, who the hell is this chick, and where did she come from, and what is she doing? What is she doing? Because I have no idea what she's doing, but it's working. And she looks like she's not full of shit. Like, people kept saying, I keep waiting for you to appear full of shit, but you're not. And I was like, keep looking, because you're not going to find me full of shit. Because this is like, if you see me out with my kids, if you see me at the store, if you see me on stage in front of 15,000 people, same person. And so that's kind of where you and I met, is when that all was beginning, that
Hmm.
first year or so.
And it's one of those things where we actually spoke about this, is that the smoke and mirrors that a lot of people see now on social media with, the Instagram stories and the Facebook pictures, and people are giving this mirage that life is amazing. They're very successful. They have all their stuff together. They don't have any problems in their life. It's sunshine and rainbows every single day. But what I found is that the more vulnerable you are, the stronger you become, but the more relatable and connectable you are to your audience. And it's interesting. And one, I just want to say thank you for all the support that you've been giving me. And it really does mean a lot, in your friendship above everything else. And I did my first keynote on Monday, and my fiance is kind of like my sounding board. She always gives me the feedback of from the outside looking in. And I said, so what's your feedback? And she's like, you fucking crushed it.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, well, what's your feedback? She goes, nothing. You found your zone of genius. Because, everyone knows me as the LinkedIn guru, but she said, above else, she goes, the point that you were driving home, that people were nodding their head with, then when you were speaking on it, was creating human connection.
Mm-hmm.
Because you and I talked about this, that social media, when it can be used for good, it's really numbed people to the aspect of doing something like this, which is talking to another person, listening to someone's need, providing a solution, but really building the foundation for a friendship or a mentorship or a coach or whatever it is to that person. How important do you feel in today's day and age, with everything that's going on social media and everything you see people doing, to still come back to human connection with those around you?
Well, at the end of the day, whether, obviously I have a history and in recovery and all that. And I'm one of those, like, whether you are a drop down drunk or a drug addict or somebody who's addicted to, the likes on your Facebook and Instagram, or we're all kind of searching outside of ourselves for worth and value. And the minute we are in that zone, we're fucked, right? Like, we're in trouble. And what you said, I take so beautifully. And back 6.5 years ago, vulnerability online wasn't popular.
Yeah.
And I made a lot of people really uncomfortable with my level of vulnerability. Now it's like the cool shit to do. The problem is it's a discounted level of authenticity and vulnerability. It's
Right.
in these perfectly bullet pointed bullshit. Like, no, that's not fucking authenticity and vulnerability. That's trying to fish. You're trying to fish people in to be, interesting to them. There's a difference when you are posting that shit to serve, and there's a difference between posting it to get people. And the problem with not just network marketers, but anything, social media is being used as a fishing ground. And I get it. It was super effective for me, but I always had a very high involvement in connecting with people, not just like slap the shit up on the wall and praying for this connection. Because the problem is in a time when we have physical access to people at the drop of a dime, we are more disconnected than ever. We are more feeling alone in things than ever, because there's this barrier, there's this wall in between, because we have such a high attachment to the outcome of when we post shit. Of course it's not going to work. Like, it's very important to have a high involvement with the human connection and really coming from a place of love, service, and caring about people with no attachment to the outcome, like none. And the minute we see it all the time, because we'll see people switch up their branding or switch up the color fonts or switch up the photographer they use, all for the name of trying to hope something works. Where the thing that actually works is them just coming from a place of really high involvement with connecting with the human spirit and bringing your zone of genius and your beautiful anointed gifts to the world, but with low attachment to what you get out of it. Because that is how I built $1 million organization. I was broke as a joke when I started. I was broke as a fucking joke when I started. I didn't know how I was going to keep a roof over my head, but not for 1 minute when I started network marketing did I say, what's in it for me? I saw the big vision. I knew I could do it. It's important to have the vision so you know where you're going.
Yeah.
But then you have to look at one foot in front of the other. And the only way to get to there is through connection with the human spirit, to love, serve, and care about people. And that's how you build a trusting network. As you've heard it, like, your network is your net worth. Now, if your network thinks you're full of fucking shit all the time, it's not going to be sustainable, no matter how good you are at closing sales. Like, when people say I'm good at sales, I laugh. I'm like, no, I'm not good at closing sales. I build trust, credibility, and respect in a community of people that they know when I open my mouth, the truth is coming out, and it's coming from a place of love, serve, and care every time. And so I can say one thing, like, I have a webinar series coming out. I have not even really promoted it. A couple hundred people are already signed up for it. I don't even know how that happened. But it's because when I actually do open my mouth, people take action. I work smarter, not harder. And working smarter for the greatest good, not just for my good, right?
Yeah. And you hit it right on the head. And I posted something. Well, I'm going to come back to something that you posted the other day when your dog photobombed a picture of you relaxing in your pool. And the person who took that picture was yourself. You didn't have a photographer come to the house and say, listen, I want you to swim around a little bit, and I'm going to wait for the lighting, and we're going to wait for the dog to walk around. Then we're going to take the picture, and then you're going to post something about him photobombing your picture. No, you were relaxing in the afternoon, and you were vulnerable, and you just showed real life. And I think everyone is trying to be too perfect, when in reality, life is based around our imperfect imperfections. And the other thing is that everyone is looking, like you said, for the likes, the comments, the shares, the views, all this stuff. And you can't automate that. People are trying to opt-ins and all, like, everyone is trying to automate and take the shortcut with everything. And this was the one thing that I was driving home in my talk, is that the one thing that can't be automated in a funnel or a tripwire or anything of that nature is human connection. That at a core foundation, we all have that core value. We're all looking for connection. We're all looking to feel a part of something. And people don't realize that now I understand the reason why I started doing what I was doing on LinkedIn and now teach it to others, because my core value is connection. And I wasn't feeling connected to people on Facebook and Instagram. And, you know, having a lot of friends and followers, that is not connection to me. This, what we're doing right now, is connection, is talking to a human being, whether it is on a Facebook Live or on a Zoom or in person. And that's why I moved to LinkedIn, because I was actually getting on the phone with people and talking to them and finding out about them. So what would be your best piece of advice for that entrepreneur, that network marketer that might be following the wrong person, and they're kind of they're broke as shit. They're you and I both know there are more network marketers now today more than ever not making money compared to those that are. That gap between the people at the top and the people at the bottom is widening because people aren't taking action. What is a simple something that individual that's listening to this now or on the replay can do?
Well, I want you to think about it. Like, perfectionism is not only destroying your business and your self-esteem and your confidence. Perfectionism is going to destroy your health. Perfectionism is going to destroy your relationships with people you actually care about. The people that maybe aren't liking and commenting your stuff, the people that are in your home. Perfectionism is going to destroy your children. I'm here to tell you that. And the reason I can say that is because I was one. I was one that was so fixated on the outcome and how I appeared to the world that with my children, I was like, I could see the anxiety and stress of trying to maintain that. And that's not sustainable for any human, especially your own children, who will do what you're modeled, taught, and what you're modeling, telling them and teaching them. And so when I saw that playing out in my children, I'm like, I don't want that to stop. So the only way for them to stop it is to me stop being a perfectionist, right? How is that affecting your business? Like, especially if you're in network marketing, if you show up this perfect leader, like the reason I was so successful is because like, they're like, holy crap, if that hot mess can do this and keep it so simple, like I can do it. And because like, I think I told you, like, I can tell you how I can cast a vision for you. I can tell you how to do it. I can tell you how to get paid. And I can tell you how, like, I speak authentically. That means in the good times and the not so good times. That means when my hair is dirty for 7 days or when I'm polished up, like it's consistent. I'm consistent no matter what I look like. I'm consistent in the pool with my dog. I'm consistent on a stage in front of 15,000 people. Like, and I always had a problem when I would show up somewhere and people were like, I know you. I'm like, you don't know me. Like, yeah, you follow me like a hawk and you're stalking me, which thank you. I appreciate that I've inspired you in some way, but what action are you taking?
Yeah.
Anybody that came up to me and would say, oh my God, you changed my life. I'm like, really? How? Tell me how. Like, you crying and me being inspirational entertainment does not serve you. And that isn't changing your life. What action did you take as a result of something I said or did? Because that's what I'm interested in. And so for those of you following the masses or following these leaders, like if you respect them so much and you believe the shit that they're throwing down, what action are you taking that they're doing?
Yeah.
So for me, like, I don't give a shit if you are falling at my feet telling me how great I am. That really does not excite me at all. I want to know what I said that made you change your life, because you changed your life. I didn't. I was just the vessel that relayed a message that landed at the perfect time. It was a perfect storm. That's all I was. Now, you know, if you're following these people and thinking you have to be something that you're not, like, you can take somebody's blueprint, but be you, right? My dogs are going to bark, just so you know. Real life, right?
Yep.
My great protectors. It's really important that if you're following people that you actually respect and you have like proof that they are credible. Like, that's the other thing. When I hear things, oh, so-and-so's at the top of this company. Awesome. I don't give a fuck about a rank. What does that mean in dollars? What does that mean? Like, what does that mean? Like, revenue, what does that mean? And I don't mean that to be judgmental, but if you're fixated on what a rank or a title says next to your name, I want to know how many people you've served. What does that mean in revenue? How do you sleep at night, like knowing that you've done a good job? And so, like I said, my greatest piece of advice is a super high involvement with a community that you actually give a shit about, and like genuinely give a shit about without any attachment to whatever outcome it means, without an ulterior motive, without an agenda. If you are anointed in a certain, like you are in your zone of genius right now, and you are freely giving that. And of course, people are going to have credibility, like seek credibility and trust and value you. So of course, they're going to buy into whatever you're selling.
Mm-hmm.
But that came because you are tapped into a zone of genius and sharing your gifts freely without your very high involvement, very low attachment. And that's why you're successful. That's why you're the master at what you do. That's why nobody can touch me. I know this. I know this because my involvement is unmatched in my zone. It is. And even if there was somebody in the same zone as me, good, they're them. They have a different perspective and experience than I do. And the thing I'm seeing online specifically is we're trying to experience the same life of somebody that we have like an idol like mentality. Like there's so much idolatry, and I'm telling you right now, we all shit. We all fall on our face. We all have rough days, you know? And so you idolizing somebody, you'll never have the same experience as them because you didn't grow up in the same house. You have a different perspective, maybe different personality, different love language, like all the things that, I mean, you could take their blueprint, but are you taking their blueprint and actually taking action? Like that's the thing. But you have to make it you and be you. Otherwise, it's not sustainable. I've seen people try to be me and they have success, but it isn't sustainable. And when one thing goes wrong, the wheels fly off the bus.
Yep. It's one of those things where the cure-all for anything in your life is action.
100%.
It's not necessarily like, yes, massive action is good, only if it's sustainable, because that's how you end up getting burnout, adrenal fatigue, and other things that can happen. When, you know, I talk about life is a marathon, it's not a sprint. You can take the best sprinter in the world. You can get Usain Bolt and you can put him in a marathon race, and he can run that race 100 times and he will lose every single time because he gets burnt out after 400 meters. The same goes for when you're building a business. You need to go at a pace that feels good to you. And here's the thing. People have to ask themselves, why do you idolize this person? What is it about this person that you're looking at them and you're idolizing them? For me, when I realized in my zone of genius is that I was self-inspiring myself. Because if I couldn't inspire me, if I couldn't motivate myself, how was I going to be able to do that for those around me? So it's not about creating more followers. It's creating more leaders that believe in themselves, that have a greater purpose for what they want to do for those around them, whatever the case may be. So you really do have to pay attention to who you're looking up to, because if there's some sort of misalignment, just like you said, you can try to be me, but at the first sign of trouble, if there's a slight wave or a ruffle in the ocean, your boat's going to topple over and you're going to sink right to the bottom and you're not going to know how to get back up. So Tracy, just leave everybody, while we have a couple minutes left, leave everybody with a simple message that if they really do want this bad enough and they really want to succeed, you know, they ranks aside, because don't forget, everything in life has been created. It's all made up. The ranks, the stars, the site, it is all imaginary. There's been words placed to a meaning of what something is. And once you can realize there's a higher purpose to something, then you can start reaching for the stars. So what is something someone can do today to start getting themselves in action? They can start letting go of those past stories that are really bogging them down, and they can start stepping into who they truly are.
So I want to say something before I say that, because it's like, it's touching on what we just talked about, and like following the masses, and like if you're idolizing one person, and listen, I have many teachers in my life, and I've always been like a take what I need and leave the rest kind of person. Like I might like what some person says, but I don't agree with that. But if you're trying to fit into their life and following everything, even something that isn't right to you, like it's never going to work. Like I'll give you an example really quick. Two of the most influential people in my, like, celebrities in my life, Oprah Winfrey and Howard Stern. They could not be more different. They could not be more different. But there are certain things about each of them that, because I've been studying them both for over 30 years, both of them. And I take what I need from both of them, and I've learned along the last 3 decades, and I leave the rest. And it's all Tracy, but like messages of their wisdom. They're both 65 years old, I think, today. And take what I need and leave the rest. So when you're following people, take nuggets, that like means something to you, then move on. Move on. Because if you try to fit into that, it's never going to work. Now, like one thing, like you said, action. And you're right. There's a difference between throwing a bunch of shit up at the wall, hoping something sticks, and not just effective action, but also compassionate action. That means compassion for yourself, that you're going to be willing to mess up and be okay with it and not beat the shit out of yourself for it. It also means compassion for people you're serving, that if they don't produce the results that you want, that you're going to treat them with love and kindness, and always leave a door open for them if the timing should get right at a different time. And, you know, leave people better than you got them. Like, I didn't care if they were $1 million producer in my organization or if they drank a shake. I treated them with the same love and kindness, and I left an imprint on their heart better than when I got them. And honestly, you move through life like that, you're going to have success. Now, here's the thing. You have to let go of your attachment of what success might look like. It isn't always dollars in the bank. It could mean like feeling really good about yourself every time you look in the mirror and know that that person just walked away from you better. Like, that to me is success. It also may mean, like, you know, when your kids walk in the door, instead of being distracted, you're 100% present with them. There's no better gift than that, especially for your legacy that you leave behind. So compassionate, effective action is really, really important. And how do you do that? You have to take your own personal inventory. Like you said, why do I really want to do this? What is my motive here? What is my own personal agenda? And that means like this radical honesty with yourself. You know, you first have to have an awareness of why and the vision and all that. You have to acknowledge when maybe it's out of ego. And if it is, kind of pivot a little bit and make it about really connection and service. And then effective, compassionate action. Honestly, it's like those 3 steps, but you can't have the action without a new level of awareness and acknowledging maybe where your come from is. And once your come from is like full of integrity and humility and love and service, seriously, the sky's the limit for you. In whatever you do.
So before we pop off, for people that do want to take a deeper dive into you and how you can help them in whatever way that could be, how can they get in touch with you?
So you can follow me on Instagram, Tracy_O'Malley, or TracyO'Malley.com. I'm doing a free webinar series on how overwhelm is hazardous to your life and your business and your parenting and your relationships and all the things. It's free, totally free. You just have to put in your email and you'll be on board with that.
And I have the link, and I'm gonna drop the link in here after it's done so people can register.
Awesome. And I do work one-on-one with people that really want to like deep dive and unpack all of it. I'm the master at dissecting your life and really helping you move forward. That is in a way that's different and sustainable and beautiful and authentic. I do group coaching that's coming out at the end of the summer, which will be amazing. But just follow me if you just need some positivity in your life. I will definitely provide that. And if you love rescue dogs, then you'll see them make an appearance a lot too. If you love dogs, follow me. You'll just love that.
That's amazing. Well, I just want to first thank you so much for popping on today and taking time out of your schedule. And I just want to send you much love and gratitude and continued success. And I know that we have some things planned in the future, doing more talks and stuff for, but I just want to thank you for, you know, giving your heart and your just you to this audience today and leaving them better. So thank you so much.
I'm so grateful for you. Can't wait. Can't wait for what we're going to do.
Thank you so much, my friend. I appreciate you. Bye, Trace.
Bye.
So connect with her. I'm going to drop the link later for her free webinar. Definitely check it out. She's an amazing, amazing human being, rock star. Just, I can't say enough about her. So guys, thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you took a lot from it. Apply, learn, then teach others, take action, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye, everybody.